Hello and welcome to my channel. So today we will cover everything about Fedora setup and installation. So we'll start with, for example, for manual partitioning, how we can get a separate home partition, and we continue in the installation, the post installation, all the setup for the post installation, the multimedia codecs, the applications which are available with Fedora, the applications with our third party which we are going to install, and more and more and more. So what we will do now is we will start with one of the spins of Fedora, LXQT. I will put it on a virtual machine and we'll let it run. If you don't want to use a virtual machine and you want to start directly with the installation from the live image, you can skip the setup of the virtual machine and you can continue directly with the manual partitioning. So what we are waiting for, let us start. So guys, we first start with a virtual machine. So first off, we have to name the virtual machine USB-Fedora. And if you notice here, we have type Linux and Fedora version directly installed. Base memory, I'll put like 5 gigabytes memory, and we use 2 CPUs. And I'll click also enable EFI. And for the virtual hard disk, I will use like 56 gigabyte. There's a reason for this 56.77. I will talk about it later on why I use 56, and it is finished. Let us change first the display, make the video memory around 256. Okay, and also the optical drive, I want to add the Fedora 38 LXQT ISO also. The next thing we will do is we'll go over to the settings and check everything that is correct before we continue. We have the general, USB Fedora, Linux Fedora. We have everything is okay. System, we look at enable EFI, it is already clicked. Display, the same thing. I don't want to enable 3D acceleration. Everything is fine. Shared folders and user interface, I disable this one. It's very simple, and we start. In case you don't use the VirtualBox and you directly log from the computer, this is on the right what you will have. Test this media or start Fedora LXQT. I will start directly Fedora LXQT. And now I am in the live session. I don't want to lose a lot of time. Directly I want to go for the installation. So on the desktop I have here install to hard drive. Okay, and I will double click it, execute. We have now English, yes. And we click continue. And we have also the same thing with the keyboard. Installation destination, we click it 2 times in order to select it. Instead of automatic, I will choose custom, and die up, I'll go on done. And now I'll check directly if there is ButterFS. Okay, ButterFS. Now I can create my manual partitions. First partition, I do the drop down /boot/EFI. I will add like 300 megabytes. It's enough for me. And click add mount point. It will take some time. It's finished. We already added it. Now we add the root partition. So here also in the drop down we pick, and the root is on top, that first one, the /1, and let us add 22 gigabytes. It depends on your hard disk how much you want to allocate, but 22 gigabyte for a 56 gigabyte is not bad. So add mount point. So that's it. And the third thing is, if I want to add a separate home folder in case I want to reinstall Fedora, so the home folder will not be a problem. It's very good practice for that, and I will add it 30 gigabyte. So that's it. We have all of these 3. So, and we have 8 gigabyte available space in the pink here. And when I press done, it gives you all the information. And if you notice here in the order 8 and 9, we have 2 subvolumes, one for root and one for home, which is a very good practice, so that in case you want to update Fedora, you have it. So that's it. Installation is finished. For the root account, I enable root account. I would put a good password. Make sure I will not I will remember it. And the same thing for user creation. Let us put a user Fedora. And the password, I put also a good password, and I'll click done. And that's it. We begin installation and we wait till it's finished. So it's finished, and we continue with the finish installation. We go and restart, go to the start, and we restart our computer and we come back. So we came back again and we already restarted, we log in, and now we are in the post installation phase. Let us right click and we will check how much we have space installed. So we have around 2.65 gigabytes space. Very fine. The next thing, if you want to do some post installation, I have a website I can use. Here in the install they have only Falcon, they don't have Firefox. So Falcon is fine, there is no problem. My website is www.13minutes.xyz and the web page is /fedora-all. So we enter it, very simple. It gives you about the installation, we already did that, you can check it also. For the post installation, before doing anything, you might need DNF optimization. It doesn't help a lot, but you can do it. It's a very simple task. You copy what you have there and you paste it, you put the password, and it directly do it for you. No need to enter any file, no need to do anything. The next thing is the update. So sudo DNF update. So you copy and you paste from the clipboard and you are getting all the information now. So we have around 509 megabytes download size, 8 packages to 09 packages for upgrade. If you notice here, we have determined the fastest mailer. This is the DNF optimization that we talked about. And that's it. We already installed, updated, and upgraded. The next thing is the RPM Fusion. RPM Fusion is very nice if you want to install the multimedia codec so that you don't have problems with multimedia. All you have to do is you directly copy the RPM Fusion repos here. You copy it and you paste it in order to install this repo. Very simple and very fast. It already installed. So it's very easy to do it here on the website. The next thing is the group update cores. In case you have GNOME software or KDE, or you want to install it in LXQT, because these are not available in LXQT. If you want to install them, this one is very useful. It will include the RPM packages in the system. And of course, the RPM packages, the well-known ones is OBS Studio and VLC. So we don't have any problem and already installed. The next is multimedia post install. For multimedia post install, there are three things you need to do. First is before the multimedia and the sound and volume, I need to install swap FFmpeg free by FFmpeg. I will update the website so you don't have any problem with that. So first you need to swap the FFmpeg free, which comes directly with Fedora with the RPM version, so they don't have any conflict with RPM. That's the first step. And the next step, you will install the multimedia group update multimedia, the one that you saw on the website. But in the update, you will see these three, so you don't have any problem. Okay, so this is very important, the multimedia, so you don't have any problem with the codecs, if in the video editing, in the sound, in VLC, and all of these things. So the third thing is the sudo group update the sound and video. I don't think there is much, but in case there's nothing, no size, so it is already accounted for. After that, we come to the hardware accelerated codecs. Depending on your graphics card, you can use whichever one you have. Let's say you have a new graphics card, Intel, you use this one. Intel old, AMD or NVIDIA, and of course AMD comes with this one, but you have to swap it with the new one for RPM Fusion. For the NVIDIA drivers, there are many things you can do. If you have any NVIDIA driver, this is the correct way to do it, the first one. But in case you have a legacy one, depending on your legacy, you can install. Here we have, let's say, GeForce 600, 700, you can use this command. For GeForce 400 to 500, you can use this one. For 89, 300, you can use this one. Why my laptop, I use a 700 series NVIDIA, so I can install this one here if I want. So it depends on you. And later on, if you want to check everything is NVIDIA is working, you go to NVIDIA-settings in the terminal and check if it is downloaded after reboot or not. The next thing is the applications. If you notice, these are the applications I compiled with month and months of working. I always keep a note of all the applications that need to be installed and need to have in any software, in any distribution, so that I don't have any problem with my dot files, all of them. So I give you an advice: always have a complete application, put it in Zim, put it in Cherry Tree, put it in Obsidian, of all the things that you are installing, so that you want to install something, you directly know what to do instead of just guessing. To install, very simple. I copy it and I paste it in the terminal. If you notice here, we have Ubuntu family fonts available here. It will give some error, no problem. You have to remove it. I will update the website, there's no problem. But you copy and paste it, and it will give you the installation. These are all the installations. So we have 1.1 gigabytes total download size in order to install. Okay, it's very easy, and it's all also finished. So very nice. I installed all the applications that I need to install. These are special applications that you need to install. One of them is RAR. You tell me why you install RAR. I have in my application, I have UnRAR, I have P7zip, I have also Tunar Xarchiver. But in some cases, very rare cases, sometimes it doesn't open unless I use RAR. That's why I installed it. So if you want, this is how you can install it. For Yad, there is two methods to install. I already installed it in the applications, but it is an old version. If you can build it, or you can use the one that I give you. If you notice, Yad -- version, it is version 9.3. It's an old version. The new version is 13. So either you can build it, or you use the one that I came from PC Linux OS. Don't use PC Linux OS repos unless it is a very simple one. This is a very simple one with no dependencies. So what you have to do in the attachment, I save it, I put it in the downloads. You go CD downloads, and you go sudo dnf install, and you put this RPM that I gave you in the attachment. It is quite easy. I have problem with the password. Let me put it again. And that's it. So we have Yad 13, very small, and now it's finished. We put Yad -- version. If you notice, it is 13. If you want to check if it is working, Yad -- color, it gives you the color dialog box. You can pick here whichever color. It's very well known to have this one, but Yad is very well known for its forms and some dialogues that you can use. But I just give you this one just to check it if it is working or not. The other one that is very important is Fedi. Fedi is marvelous. It has all the scripts to install third-party software in Fedora, and it compiles them in one application. So you have to install it. It needs Copper and also RPM Fusion. So since we already installed RPM Fusion, we installed this Copper, and directly we have Fedi, and it will be installed directly very fast. So here afterwards you can go to the launcher, or you can run it from the terminal. You run Fedi from the terminal. Look how many plugins it has. These are all scripts, so sometimes the scripts have problems, so don't be sad if some of them doesn't work. If you notice, they have Brave, they have Firefox, Google Earth, they have Mailspring, also Neomat, Nutshell, there's Opera, there's only Office, OneDrive, there's PZip, and also there is PhotoFlare. So let us try PhotoFlare. Unfortunately, I think it will not work because the Copper repo for PhotoFlare have changed to another one. I don't know why he changed it, so I think that's why it has a problem. If you look in the terminal, it tells me that it is not available, this repo, the project does not exist. It exists, and you will see why after I finish here. I will show you the Copper repo for PhotoFlare. So let us continue. It has also development tools, let's say for Arduino, for Eclipse, for Visual Studio, for Sublime Text, if you want to install the IDEs. The same also, it gives you the driver for Intel driver, NVIDIA driver, the one that we talked about, the legacy one, the 470, which is the one for the 700 series. It gives you these, but already I put them better in the website, so no need to use that. But it is available if you want to install some of the things that are available. If you notice here, there's also very nice way to install themes, so directly you can install themes without any worry. For the tweaks, the same thing, we have touchpad if you want to check the grab too. And for utilities, we have two important ones, multimedia codecs and TrueType core fonts. Of course, multimedia codecs are already installed, but if you want the Microsoft fonts, you can install them directly through Fedi. Very nice. Let us go back to PhotoFlare and then we'll continue later on. For PhotoFlare, I told you the copper has changed, and this is the new copper that is included now. And so you directly go and copy the copper and you install directly PhotoFlare. It's very small, 769. I like PhotoFlare. It's better than GIMP, especially for simple things, so cutting or cropping. And I'm lazy, I don't use also ImageMagick anymore, that's why also. QTCapt is very nice if you want to install along with Conky, because it gives you a part of a website. It's not updated much, that's why I keep a copy of it for that. I don't know if you like it, but in case you like it, also it is available. Xscape also, I don't use it anymore. I used to use it, but after I used Kanata, I did not use Xscape anymore. But this is how you can install it for Fedora. This is how you can install it. Another important thing is the font manager. Fedora doesn't have a font manager, a good font manager in the repos, as I remember. So this is in the copper. So if you want to include in Tunar a font viewer, so you have to enable this copper font manager, and afterwards you can install the Tunar font manager directly, as you can see here, sudo dnf install Tunar-font-manager. So it's very nice to have that. Fedora doesn't have it as far as I know. I don't know if you have anything in mind. If you put it in the comments below, so that maybe I will not use a copper. So I don't like to use coppers, but that's why I use this one. The other thing is Cherry Tree. I don't use Cherry Tree much. I use Zim all the time. But Cherry Tree, when I first installed it, it has a old version in Fedora. So if you want a very updated version, you have to install it through the copper repo. And that's how you can install it. For VirtualBox, there are three types to install, three things you have to install VirtualBox. The first one is not needed. These I kept it years by these. I always use them. I don't know if it is you want to install these, but I always install them. It will solve a lot of problems in case you have some problems with the VirtualBox. But this one is, I think it's not needed to install these. In either case, they take a lot of space. So, but I always install them. There's nothing wrong if I don't install them. So I've used them a lot of years, so that's why I installed them. After these, you can install VirtualBox. Of course, this VirtualBox in the is in the RPM Fusion. Before it was in the Oracle repo. Now it has changed. Oracle did not update the repo. That's why also the confusion is coming for VirtualBox. See, it's very simple. The last thing you need to do is you have to put add the user to the VBox users group. This is also very important. Oh, I added all of these three. There's no problem, but just copy and paste and you will be fine. Later on, you run it in the terminal. This one, you write VirtualBox in the terminal and you run it in a case you have some errors, because if there's some errors, you need to fix them. Either it can be fixed by directly going and rebooting, or another things. The next thing is gparted. One I will not talk about. For gparted, sometimes if you run gparted in Fedora, it doesn't work. That's why you need to add first xhost plus local to access control list. This one is only one time you have to put it, and then gparted will work directly. and later on when you run gparted it will work. And if you notice here, /sda2, which is the Btrfs, it has two sub volumes, the root and the home, and we have the EFI system partition /boot/EFI, and we have the unallocated 8 GB. If we look at df-m, we are using 5.28 GB. All these applications is only 5.28, which is amazing, Fedora, how much it uses these. The next thing is Kanata. Kanata is a marvelous application. I don't know, maybe I will give you a video about Kanata, what it can do. It's like a key binding, like a powerful SXHAKD, but of course working directly in the kernel level. So it's very nice, and maybe you have to try it. I give you the installation. For OBS, it's already installed in the using RPM Fusion. There's no problem, but doesn't come with the Linux browser. I give you in the GitHub the Linux browser that you can use and with the instructions. In Flatpak, it will have the Linux browser, or you can build from source and also will have the Linux browser. There's another thing, if you won't need the virtual cam functionality, you need to install this one in DNF, so that you can use Zoom. If you want to use Zoom on Microsoft Teams and you can use OBS, you can use it like this. So that's it for Fedora. You have all the information from installation to post installation to all the applications that you might need to do. That's it, and we'll be back with another video.